What's good, y'all? Anderson Emerald here, and today we are talking about Dina Asher-Smith, who recently indicated that she changed coaches and has now left Coach Flo down in Texas and has since moved back to London to train in the UK. And it seems like things came together in a very short time frame. But on top of that, I'm going to talk about some of the notable results from the UK Championships. Also want to talk about some results from the Canadian Championships, and then finally want to talk about Shaunae Miller-Uibo from the Bahamas and her return to the track in 2025. But let's start off. Dina Asher-Smith competed at the UK Championships this past weekend. She only ran the 200 and she got the win there, running 22.14 seconds ahead of Amy Hunt and Daryl Nita. Now, though she only competed in the 200, she will be running the double at the World Championships, both the 100 and the 200, because she's qualified in both events, as well as Amy Hunt and Daryl Nita. We'll talk about that in a second when I get to Daryl. But the notable thing is that after she won the 200 meters, she actually indicated that she has since changed coaches and has moved back to London.
But how has it been training-wise, set-wise?
It's good. No, it's good. I'm really happy. I'm based in London and I'm just having fun. I'm really excited. I've been working on some stuff to do with my race phasing, race prep, and I think, as you can see, it's paid dividends. Like, I'm just so happy and I feel in a very confident and capable place. So,
how has that been back in London?
Oh, I love it. I'm such a London girl. Such a London girl. I tried, babe. I tried, but I'm back. I promise. I tried my hardest. But yeah.
Now, some backstory. Dina, of course, has trained in the UK for pretty much the majority of her life. She was training with Coach John Blackie since she was, I think, 9 or 10 years old, literally since she was a child. But in October 2023, she moved down to Austin, Texas to train with Coach Edrick Floreal, who is possibly one of the most legendary coaches in the United States. Of course, he is Canadian, but coaches in the United States at the University of Texas. He currently works with Julien, Alfred, Rhasidat, Adeleke, but he's also previously coached, Cindy McLaughlin-Vroni, Jasmine Camacho Quinn, Corey Carter, Kenny Harrison. He worked with Jenna Prandini, Tiana Daniels. So hurdlers and sprinters across the board. So he's a legendary coach. But as I said, after winning the 200 meter gold, Dina indicated that she is no longer in the United States and has since moved back to train in London.
Oh, I love it. I'm such a London girl. Such a London girl. I tried, babe. I tried, but I'm back. I promise. I tried my hardest. But yeah.
Now, she unfortunately hasn't yet given a clear reason as to why she's moved, and she won't specify until after the Tokyo World Championships so that she can kind of focus on training and preparation because she really wants to do well there. In this article, she says, quote, "I'm more than happy to talk about it after Tokyo, but I just want to stay focused because I'm in great shape and I know that I can go there and perform really well. I've been really happy with these last two races because I've been able to be me and run really fast." Now, the last two races that it seems she's pointing towards are the heats and the finals at the UK Championships. Why? It seems like this change came together very, very quickly. If we circle back just a few weeks to the London Diamond League, which went down on July 19th, Julien Alfred was in the press conference and she was actually asked a question about training with Dina Asher-Smith.
Where Dina Asher-Smith, our own Dina Asher-Smith from just down the road, is there. Are you one of those that has to win every rep or do you? Yes, you are.
I mean, I'm very competitive, and in order for you to be the best, I think you just it starts from training. You cannot, skylark and be at the back of the pack in practice. So I always try to be up front. And training with Dina, alongside Dina, is always competitive. I mean, she's a great athlete, so yeah.
Again, this was on July 19th, so seems like they were still training together at this point. Also, after the 200 at the London Diamond League, Dina was asked if she was going back to the US to train before UK trials, but she said that she's staying in the UK ahead of trials because it's only about 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, and obviously, are you back to the US now ahead of British Champs, or are you sticking around?
No, I've got 2 weeks, so I'm just going to stay here in London.
Stay here,
yeah.
Brilliant.
So the way that she answered this question is almost as if she was indicating she would go back to the US if there wasn't such a short time frame between the London Diamond League and UK trials. So not any indication that she is actually moved to the UK and back to London. So this is pretty interesting. Again, seems to indicate that she was still training in the United States at that point as of July 19th, where the London Diamond League occurred. But there's a few things to think about here. One, maybe she did move after the London Diamond League and just in the past 2 to 3 weeks or so, Or alternatively, Julien, Alfred, and of course Dina Asher-Smith did know that she was leaving or had already left, and when Julien answered the question, she wanted to respect Dina's privacy in this case, right? We'll actually never probably know until maybe after the Tokyo World Champs, but just want to provide that context based on the information that we as a public have received. Now, let's talk about why she moved to Texas and now why she's moving back to London. So in the fall of 2023, Dina indicated that she initially moved to Texas to better prepare for the Olympic Games in 2024.
I knew Coach Flo was amazing. He's obviously got an amazing roster of athletes, both past and present. But for me, it was Olympic year, and it was like, what do I want my Olympic season to look like? My previous coach told me that he couldn't come to Paris, like it's just mobility and stuff, but which made me very sad. And when that was on the table, I was just like, right, what do I want my Olympic year to look like? And that's why I made the move to Coach Flo.
So this makes sense because the results that she's been putting together over the past couple years had not been likely what she was looking for. In 2019, she won the World Championship gold medal and got the silver medal in the 100 meters. 200, she ran 21.88, and the 100, she ran 10.83 seconds, both personal bests, which still stand to this day. After that, 2021 at the Olympics, she was injured after the 100-meter heats, and she then only ran the 4x1, had to pull out of the individual events. 2022, she was 4th in the 100 at the Eugene World Champs, and then she got the bronze in the 200. So good performances, but maybe not exactly what she wanted. I remember she was pretty disappointed after that 100. 2023, she was 8th in the 100-meter final and 7th in the 200-meter final. So drastic decrease and literally the worst performances she's had outside of the Tokyo Olympic Games. Now, she wanted to change these results. That seems to be the indication as to why she moved down to Texas. At the 2024 Texas Relays, about 5 months into her move, she said that she was pretty happy about the move and enjoying her time in Texas.
Big move. I'm good, I have to say. It's been like, yeah, it's just good vibes. Obviously, like, the University of Texas is amazing, as you can see. Loads of facilities, the sun's out, Austin's nice, good vibes, good food. Like, I really can't complain. Yeah, Flo's group's they're really nice. I've had so much fun and excited to do my first Texas Relays. No, I'm just having fun. I think, yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun. Flo is a very funny man. I feel like we've got a similar sense of humor, so we can just crack a lot of jokes and get the training done in a really good, productive, but also like a fun way. And I've just been loving it. And like, yeah, as a Brit, oh no, I have to train in the sunshine. Oh, woe is me. Like, what a shame. I'll take one for the team and go and do it. Oh.
So she was in pretty good spirits at that point. But now, a full year later, we have to ask the question, why is it that she left? Well, she unfortunately hasn't seen the results that she likely wanted to see since her move. And I know it's only been a year, but look at the results from 2024, which was her target and her reason for moving to Texas. At the Paris Olympics, 100 meters, she didn't even make the 100-meter final. In the 200, she finished 4th place and off the podium. So those clearly were not the results she wanted. Also, in terms of her times, her best 100-meter time over this, past couple years has been 10.83 seconds in 2022, which, like I said, is the same personal best from all the way back in 2019 when she won the silver behind Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price. In the 200, her personal best is 21.88 from those Doha World Championships in 2019. Since then, she has only run a best of 21.96 seconds. So really no improvement when it comes to her times. Also, at the top of 2025, she's seeing pretty similar results, doing generally okay, or not even great times. 200, she's run 22.8, 22.6, and 22.2, all in Grand Slam track and on the Diamond Leagues. Also, she ran 10.93 at the Stockholm Diamond League in the 100, but that's pretty much in line with the performances that she's shown over the last year and even in 2023. So essentially nothing new, no real progress. So I think that is one clear factor. The other thing is the dynamics of living in the United States. Yes, at the Texas Relays last year, about 5 months into her move, she did say that she was enjoying it. She said she loved training in the sun, all that stuff. But it's possible that the adjustment over the past year and compounded with the results that she hasn't necessarily liked and wasn't looking for, might have been coming to a head and led to her now deciding to move back to the UK, where she feels a little bit more comfortable. Austin, Texas in the United States is simply not London in the UK. And yes, still a big city, but a very, very different big city. You know, in the United States, there's a big car culture. Unless you're living in New York or Chicago or maybe DC, right, where you have more access to public transportation, it's just a different dynamic. And not to say that, you know, there isn't driving and all that stuff in London, the UK, but it's just a more densely populated city that Austin, Texas just isn't as comparable to. So yes, she likes the hot weather. She likes, you know, maybe the environment and all that, but you know, living is a whole different situation. Also, she moved when she was about 27 or 28 years old. So she was well into not only her career, but also her life as well. She was an adult, right? Almost turning 30 years old. So those things are going to factor into how Dina was feeling over the past year of living in the United States, having to adjust to a completely different culture and not necessarily seeing the results that she would have liked, again, only over the past year. Additionally, in the Guardian article, Dina says, quote, "Everybody is different, and different setups in different locations mean different things for everybody. I just think for me and the personality type I am, I need to be happy, free, and my fullest, most vibrant self. I need to be in an environment where I can have discussions and work hard through my races week on week. I think it's really important to be in an environment that recognizes that and fosters it." Now, let's also be clear. Coach Flo is an excellent coach. He has established results over the lifetime of his career with various different athletes. But every single individual athlete is not going to be a perfect fit for every single individual coach, right? Yes, Julien Alfred is working really well under Coach Flo, but Dina Asher-Smith is not Julien Alfred, and she's not other athletes that Coach Flo may have worked with. There's also many top athletes who move to train with other top coaches, but maybe the dynamics don't work as well. And this isn't to say dynamics of, personality or, issues, like nothing about like them clashing or anything like that. Just maybe different training styles are not going to work for every individual athlete. But that's Dina Asher-Smith. Again, we'll find out more after the Tokyo World Championships, hopefully. But let's talk about some of the other results from the national championships. Amy Hunt, she had an excellent championships here. 100 meters, she got the win in 11.02 seconds, a personal best, improving on her best of 11.03 from the Doha Diamond League earlier this year. In the 200, she got second place just behind Dina Asher-Smith, running 22.14, the same time as Dina, and she almost kind of ran down Dina. If, there was another meter, Amy Hunt would have gotten that win. But that was also another personal best for her, improving on her best of 22.31 from earlier this year. Now, she has the potential to make the final at the World Championships in both the 100 and the 200. Not saying it's definitely going to happen, but Amy does have that potential considering the progress that she's made this year. After that, Daryl Nita. Daryl Nita is rounding into excellent form right now. In the 100 meters, she ran 11 seconds flat in the heats, which is the fastest time that she's run since the Olympic 100-meter final last year, where she got 4th place in Paris. But in the final at these UK championships, Daryl unfortunately false started. It was literally like a flinch out of the blocks, and it wasn't even like she went early, she just kind of flinched. So unfortunately, she was DQ'd, couldn't run in that final, but she probably would have run, sub 11 seconds based on what she did in the heats. But at the end of the day, she is clearly back in form. In the 200, she ran 22.30 seconds to finish 3rd behind Dina and Amy Hunt, which also is the fastest time since she got 5th place at the Paris Olympic Games in the final last year. So listen, Daryl Nita, she is in excellent form, and just some setbacks early in the year. She also changed coaches, trains down in Florida with Lance Brahman, but she looks to be good. Now, after that false start, there's some questions on if Daryl will still be able to go to the World Championships, because Amy Hunt got the win and she's going. Dina Asher-Smith also indicated that she's going to Worlds in both the 100 and the 200, but it seems like Dina, Daryl, and Amy are all three going to be competing in both events at the World Championships. Think about it. All three of them have the 3 fastest times in both events this year for the United Kingdom. They also, in the 100 specifically, are the only ones who have the standard at 11.07 seconds. After that, you have Desiree Henry, who finished 2nd place to Amy in the 100 at UK Champs, but she is not in the world rankings quota and likely won't move up because of the other women who are ahead of her. Also, Bianca Williams, she's higher up in the world rankings quota, but she did not compete at these UK champs. And just for context, world rankings quota, World Athletics is trying to split the amount of athletes who compete, qualify for the World Championships based on the standard and then based on the World Rankings quota. So if you don't have the standard, you could potentially get in by World Rankings quota. But in this case, because the UK and British athletics, they actually are able to just make discretionary picks different from the United States. Dina, Daryl, and Amy, I'm like 99% certain that all three of them are going to be competing in the 100 and the 200 at the World Champs. I could be wrong, so I say 99%, but it is what it is. And Daryl finished 4th place at the Olympics last year in the 100. Like, she's going to be there based on her form this year and based on what she's done in the past. So on the 400 though, shout out to Amber Anning and Victoria Hurugu and Yemi Mary John, 50.53, 50.79, and 50.84 seconds respectively. So Amber Anning rounding into form, she got 5th place at the Olympic Games last year in the 400. So, she's going to be a medal threat. In the men's 100 and 200, Zarno Hughes, 9.94 seconds, slightly windy to win the 100-meter final. In the 200, he ran a legal 19.90 seconds. Zarno Hughes, check out the landscape of the men's 100 that I just already spoke about. He is rounding into great form. He is looking good heading into those worlds. And don't forget, he is the bronze medalist from 2023 in that 100. So he is very much a threat to get on that podium once again. You also had Jeremiah Azu, who ran 9.97 in the 100-meter final, again, slightly windy, as well as Louis Hinchcliffe, who ran 10.01 in the final. So that looks like it's going to be the 100-meter team for Great Britain going to the World Champs. Now, let's shift over to the Canadian Championships. Some good performances across the board. Similar to Great Britain, Canada also has these discretionary picks. So very notable, Andre DeGrasse, he was injured, so did not compete at these Canadian Championships, but he'll likely go to Worlds. He has a standard in the 100 and he's in the world rankings quota in the 200. So, and also most people from Canada unfortunately don't have the standard in the sprints. So we're going to see a pretty chalk field going to the World Championships. But Jerome Blake, he has been Canada's guy in the sprints this year. He ran 9.97 seconds in the 100 earlier this year and was the favorite to get the win, but he false started in the heats of the 100 meters and he eventually ran under protest, but he was DQ'd. He couldn't advance to the final. But he did come back in the 200 and eventually ran 19.95 seconds, breaking the 20-second barrier for the first time in his career, probably running on that energy of trying to get back after the DQ in the 100. So that was a big performance for him, got the win, probably going to be going to Worlds in both events, the 100 and the 200. And listen, he could sneak into the finals. Could sneak, not saying he definitely will, could sneak into the finals. But Aaron Brown, shout out to Aaron Brown, veteran of the group. He got 2nd place in the 100, running 10.13 seconds to Duan Asamoah's 10.12 seconds. Now, neither of them have the standard in the 100 meters, but they could get it in the next few weeks. August 24th is the last day that you can actually get the World Championship standards in any events. Now, in the 200, Aaron finished 2nd place, running 20.08 seconds behind Jerome Blake, and that time secures the World Championship standard in that event. So he is confirmed, at least there, to go to the World Championships. He is set. Few other results. We did see Audrey Leduc. She ran 11.06 to win the 100 and 22.55 to win the 200. Earlier this year, she ran 10.94 seconds, a Canadian national record, after running 10.95 and 10.96 last year. So she's kind of a sleeper in the 100 to potentially make the final. We'll see what happens in Tokyo. Sade McCreath, she got 2nd place in the 100 with 11.09. Earlier this year, she ran 10.95 seconds, so in some good form. Christopher Morales-Williams, 45.16 to win that 400. Savannah Sutherland, she ran 51.51 to win the 400, but she's going to be running the 400-meter hurdles at the World Championships because she ran 52.46 seconds to win NCAAs, which is the number 2 time in the world behind Femke Bol this year. Of course, I'm taking out Sydney because she's not running the 400 hurdles, but Savannah Sutherland is in the conversation for a medal in the 400-meter hurdles. Finally, let's talk about Shaunae Miller-Uibo. Shaunae Miller-Uibo, one of the greatest 400-meter athletes in history, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, world champion, one of the fastest all-time with her 48.36 personal best. She finally made a return to the track after a full year in the 400, running 51.41 seconds at the national championships in the 400-meter final down in Bahamas. Now, this was her first race since the Paris Olympic Games, where she ran the heats and the repechage rounds, and 51.41 seconds is her fastest time since 2022, when she ran 49 seconds to win the NACAC championships. Also, the same year she won the World Championship gold medal in Eugene. So since then, since 2022, she gave birth in April 2023, so started a family. She dealt with injuries over the subsequent years, so hasn't been in the greatest form. But 51.41 is a good indication that, listen, she I don't know, she's looking good. She's in some good form. Now, the World Championship standard is 50.75 seconds. So she does still have a ways to go to be able to run that time. But remember, she has until August 24th to actually obtain that time to qualify for World Champs. I don't think she's going to get in the world rankings quota. She needs to run way too many races to do that. But 50.75, to me, that seems pretty obtainable. But that is Shaunae Miller-Uibo, and across the board, that's Dina Asher-Smith running at the UK Champs, changing coaches, leaving Texas, moving back to London. We saw all the other women, Amy Hunt and Daryl Nita, Zarnell Hughes on the men's side, and Jeremiah Azu, Louis Hinchcliffe. In Canada, Jerome Blake, Aaron Brown, Audrey Leduc, all the athletes who really put down for their national championships this past weekend. Of course, already did everything for the United States. Jamaica was about a month ago. Let me know what you think about the results at these various national championships, and also about Dina Asher-Smith and her move back to London. Is it a good move? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But let me know what you think. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.